Good morning, America. The state at the center of a startling outbreak, the AI chat box that sank NASDAQ, and the keys to victory from a champion. Unprecedented outbreak. This morning, we're tracking the largest documented number of tuberculosis cases in U.S. history.
Breaking overnight, financial freeze, the Trump administration's pause on all federal grants and loans, plus the new shakeup at the Justice Department, more than a dozen career prosecutors fired, and the president's latest executive orders impacting DEI and transgender people in the military.
Nosedive, how Chinese AI chatbot DeepSeek, the #1 app in both Apple and Google's app stores, ignited a sell-off on Wall Street.
Subway shoving survivor.
I just thought, I've been pushed and I'm going to die.
The man pushed into the path of an oncoming train.
4 minutes is an eternity under a train.
It sure felt like it.
This morning, how Joe was rescued and what he asked for first when he was pulled from the tracks.
Wildfire investigation. New clues in surveillance video into what sparked the Eaton fire, which destroyed thousands of homes, killed 17 people.
Commanding the court.
Kim Caldwell got a standing ovation when she entered the building, returning 1 week after giving birth to her first child.
What Tennessee women's head basketball coach Kim Caldwell said about her return.
Celebrate with me tonight.
And first on GMA, the keys to victory.
Madison Keys, you are a Grand Slam champion.
Madison Keys, fresh off celebrating her big Australian Open win, is here live in Times Square as we get ready for an announcement from these familiar faces.
Good morning, America. We have some exciting news to share with you and all of our fans. No spoilers, but Christmas came early this year.
Live from Times Square, it's Tuesday. Good morning, America.
My friends, that's what you call a tease with the Jonas Brothers. Good morning, America. We are excited to have Madison Keys here. Her story is one of perseverance and overcoming the obstacles that we sometimes put in our own way. We're going to talk about her new strategy this time around.
I am so excited to see your conversation with Madison Keys. She's been through so much and has such an achievement under her belt now. Also ahead, you might have seen the tragic market sell-off yesterday. $1 trillion in value wiped out in a single day. Well, it all comes back to this Chinese chatbot. It sent shudders through the stock market, and we're going to break down what the app can do and why Wall Street melted down.
AI changing so many things.
Much.
Also right now, the new Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, is in New York City this morning for an ICE operation. We're going to have more from Rachel Scott just ahead on that.
But first, we begin with the state at the center of an unprecedented tuberculosis outbreak. Kansas is reporting the largest documented number of cases. Eva Pilgrim has the latest developments. And Eva, this is, of course, an ongoing situation, so there's concern that there could be more cases. Good morning.
That's exactly right, Robin. This is an active outbreak, and health officials expect there could be more cases. It is the most deadly infectious disease in the world, but it hasn't been a major concern here in the U.S. for many decades, until now.
This morning, health officials in Kansas are dealing with the largest documented outbreak of tuberculosis in U.S. history. There have been 2 deaths along with 67 active cases. TB is one of the world's leading infectious disease killer and is spread person to person by germs that can stay in the air for hours.
You do need prolonged contact with an infected individual. You know, if you briefly come into contact with somebody in the community, it's not very likely that you're going to contract tuberculosis. The exact reason for this specific outbreak is not yet clear.
Kansas public health officials found dozens more have latent TB, meaning they are infected with the TB bacteria, but they do not have symptoms and cannot spread the infection to others. While TB rates in the United States have been declining since the early 90s, including by nearly 20% during the first year of COVID, rates began climbing in 2021 and 2022, surpassing pre-pandemic levels in 2023.
Now, there is a TB vaccine. It leaves a little circular scar. It is commonly given to kids in countries where TB is common, but it hasn't been commonly used here in the U.S. because historically, the numbers here, y'all, have been so very low.
I know, that's what is so concerning. So we're going to have much more a little bit later because Dr. Narula is going to be here because there are a lot of questions. Thank you, Eva.
That's right. We're going to go to Washington now, where the Trump administration announced a sweeping freeze on all federal grants, funds already approved by Congress. Chief Washington correspondent John Carl is tracking Trump's executive action. John, the administration says this is just a temporary pause, but it could have major consequences.
George, look, there is a lot of confusion this morning about what exactly this directive means, but it may be the most far-reaching executive action this White House has taken yet. It could potentially halt hundreds of billions of dollars in federal spending on everything from assistance to farmers to Head Start programs to disaster relief and public transportation. In a memo describing this, it was obtained by ABC News, the White House Budget Office has ordered all federal agencies to cease any financial assistance if they believe the program might conflict with President Trump's executive orders. The directive is not specific about which programs would have to be suspended, but it's clearly far-reaching. It says, quote, this memorandum requires federal agencies to identify and review all federal financial assistance programs and supporting activities consistent with the president's policies and requirements. The only thing explicitly not included in this is Medicare and Social Security and anything directly given to individuals. But George, this is far-reaching. The Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer responded, one of many responding overnight, saying, Congress approved these investments. They are not optional. They are the law. And you described it as a pause, George. It's important to point out this memo does not say how long the pause will last. There's nothing specifying when the pause is over.
Right, as you say, this could be have such sweeping impact, and also comes on top of a big shakeup at the Justice Department.
Yeah, that's right. The Trump administration has fired over a dozen career prosecutors in the Justice Department's national security and criminal divisions. These are people who were involved in any way in the cases against Donald Trump. These officials received an email from the acting attorney general on Monday telling them, in part, given your significant role in prosecuting the president, I do not believe that the leadership of the department can trust you in implementing the president's agenda faithfully. Those fired, George, include some of the Justice Department's most senior prosecutors. These are individuals who have served in Republican and Democratic administrations.
It also comes on top of action taken against some AID, foreign assistance professionals. And we learned about an executive order the president signed Monday that could set in motion a ban on transgender troops.
Yeah, this builds on a previous order he had done last week. It seems to pave the way to pushing openly transgender people out of the military, mirroring the order he signed on transgender last week. But this goes further, allowing the Pentagon to possibly bar transgender people if they identify as a gender other than the one assigned at birth. It states expressing a false gender identity divergent from an individual's sex cannot satisfy the rigorous standards necessary for the military service. So yes, it looks like it is paving the way for a total ban.
John Carl, thanks very much. Rebecca?
All right, George. President Trump also ramping up his immigration crackdown with a surge in raids by law enforcement agents across the country. Let's go to our senior political correspondent, Rachel Scott, who's at the White House. Good morning, Rachel.
Rebecca, good morning to you. The White House says President Donald Trump's plans for mass deportations are now fully underway, which means cities and states across this country are seeing a surge in the number of undocumented migrants who are being arrested. ICE says that there was nearly 1,200 arrests yesterday alone. That is the highest number since President Donald Trump was sworn into office. ICE officials tell me they're going after what they are calling the worst first. So these are undocumented migrants who have criminal backgrounds or convictions, but they also say they are not stopping there, acknowledging that anyone who is in the country illegally, even if they do not have a criminal conviction, could be detained or apprehended. That is triggering some fear in many communities across this country, as the president is promising this is only the start, Rebecca.
Rachel, we are also learning that the new Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, is here in New York City today for an ICE operation.
Yes, Rebecca, and Kristi Noem was just sworn in as Homeland Security Secretary. This morning, she is out in New York City with ICE officials. She posted this video to her social media page showing officials arresting undocumented migrants. The administration wants to get these images out there. This is a clear show of force from the Trump administration. They are determined to send a message not only to undocumented immigrants that are in this country, but also those who are considering coming, Rebecca.
All right, Rachel, thank you.
Yeah, Rebecca, I'm going to bring it right back to you because we're going to talk about Wall Street right now. You had this big sell-off yesterday because of a new AI company, Chinese company called DeepSeek.
Yeah, and this is getting so much attention. It is called the Temu of AI, a little-known Chinese company sending shockwaves through the stock market and calling into question U.S. dominance in artificial intelligence. This morning, the powerful new Chinese artificial intelligence app called DeepSeek igniting a sell-off on Wall Street. Shares of NVIDIA, the largest U.S. maker of the chips that power AI here, plunging 17%, with the company losing nearly $600 billion in market value, the biggest single-day loss ever for a U.S. company. The fall triggered by the emergence of DeepSeek, an AI chatbot that works similarly to ChatGPT, a computer program that can simulate human conversation and perform complex tasks. DeepSeek's Chinese owners claim it was developed for less than $6 million, a fraction of the cost of its U.S. rivals like Google, Meta, and OpenAI, saying it took just months to develop using cheaper chips and less energy. Meta's reportedly assembling war rooms to figure out how they're being beat. President Trump calling it a wake-up call.
The release of DeepSeek AI from a Chinese company should be a wake-up call for our industries that we need to be laser-focused on competing to win.
OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, named last week to President Trump's newly launched AI development project, Stargate, warning about the technology in the wrong hands when we spoke in 2023.
This will be the greatest technology humanity has yet developed.
So in the wrong human hands, it could be a very different device.
We do worry a lot about authoritarian governments developing this and using it.
Russia, China. And this morning, China's DeepSeek is the #1 app in both Apple and Google's app stores. Wall Street investors cautiously absorbing its impact on U.S. AI dominance.
DeepSeek is reminding us that the next great AI company may not exist yet or may just be in its infancy. I think it tells us that it's a more democratized playing field than maybe we thought it was just a week ago.
And there are also two key outcomes here. First of all, it shows that China is in this AI fight. They've found some workarounds to our own regulations, and it's going to be very hard for the United States to restrict or regulate Chinese technology going forward. And it really raises the question of how much can we really shut this down here in the United States? People are already downloading it. They're already going to the App Store right now. The second thing is it shows the possibility of building AI at a lower cost. And I know this will really interest Ginger, using a lot less energy, because it's very energy intensive to do all of this work.
AI is going to remain in the headlines.
Absolutely,
All right,
Robin.
Rebecca, thank you. We're going to turn now to new information this morning into the investigation into the possible origin of one of the Los Angeles wildfires. Trevor Ault is live in Altadena with the details for us. Good morning, Trevor.
Good morning, Robin. The Eaton fire destroyed thousands of homes here in Altadena, and lawyers for one resident say the power company is to blame. They filed a lawsuit, and what we're about to show you is surveillance video that they claim show the very first sparks of this massive, deadly fire.
This morning, new possible clues into the cause of the Eaton fire, which destroyed thousands of homes, killing 17 people. Lawyers of suing residents now point to alarming surveillance video they believe shows that the fire sparked from a SoCal Edison power line.
This equipment, we believe, it shows the arcing and a fire blazing just minutes afterward.
Zooming in on that edited gas station surveillance footage, they argue this flash is when the power line sparked. Then showing another clip they say shows the fire spreading rapidly in the mountainside within 10 minutes. SoCal Edison telling ABC News they have seen the video, which the New York Times provided, and the company is evaluating it as part of an ongoing investigation.
Hey babe, I need you to come out here right now.
The timestamp of 6:11 p.m. appears to match the timeline from other eyewitnesses in the area.
We have a very big problem.
What? Jeffrey and Cheryl Koo captured these frenzied moments around 6:19 p.m. In that video, you can see the base of a transmission tower. Our Matt Gutman speaking with them soon after.
At that time, that when we saw it, it was just at the base of the tower. And within minutes, it had spread.
Outside court Monday, SoCal Edison denied the claim the power lines at that transmission tower were faulty.
We did not find any faults on lines. What we did is a deeper dive, and we found some distant lines that did have some faults, but they don't serve the canyon.
Now, these lawyers accuse SoCal Edison of planning to destroy the evidence. Though SoCal Edison tells us they've been cooperating with the investigation since the beginning, and they will continue to. But a judge on Monday ordered that these power lines in the video have to be preserved for at least the next 3 weeks. Robin.
All right, thanks for staying on top of this for us, Trevor. Now to worrying new flu numbers from the CDC. Ariel Reshef is here with the latest on the spread across the U.S. Good morning to you, Ariel.
Good morning to you, Robin. This morning, an alarming release from the CDC. According to the latest data, 16 million cases of flu so far this season across the country. There have also been about 190,000 hospitalizations and 8,300 deaths from the flu. In the most recent week, the CDC is reporting 4 children died from flu, bringing the total number of pediatric deaths to 31. Last season, we saw a record 200 kids die from flu. Children make up the most ER visits, with younger kids being hit the hardest. Those over 75 years make up the most hospitalizations. Doctors caution, while we are still deep in respiratory season, it looks like RSV activity has peaked. Seasonal influenza and COVID-19 are rising in most areas of the country. New Hampshire, New Jersey, and Wisconsin are all listed in the very high category. That's up from just 2 states last week. So bottom line here, experts say it is not too late to get vaccinated if you are eligible. And they're also urging everyone just to take those basic precautions, hand washing, cleaning those surfaces. Stay home when you're sick. George.
It is that time of year, Carol. Thanks very much. We're going to switch gears now, turn to a big upset on the court overnight. Larry's here with the story.
George, good morning to you. So it was a huge, tense matchup between Arizona and Iowa State, right down to the wire. Check this out. Just seconds to go in regular time, and I want you to wait for it. Unbelievable. All the love for that young man right there. His name is Caleb Love, the game hero who launched that Hail Mary half-court buzzer beater to drive the crowd wild and send the game into overtime. Guys, if you think that was all Love had left, oh no, Mr. Love sinking back-to-back three-pointers in overtime, helping Arizona Wildcats defeat the Iowa State Cyclones 86-75. Mr. Love, you need to buy a lottery ticket ASAP.
That is it. Thank you, Lara. Coming up, Larry, you're going to love this. Madison Keys first. First on GMA, right off her thrilling win at the Australian Open. She's going to tell us about her journey from child prodigy to Grand Slam champion.
And Eva Pilgrim's going to be back with her exclusive television interview with a man who has lived every subway rider's worst nightmare, Eva.
That's right. This is the face of a man who's so happy to be alive. Joe Linsey was waiting for the subway when he was shoved onto the tracks in front of an oncoming train. As you see this video, you're going to be amazed that he survived. What he told me went through his mind as he lay there waiting for help. Will he ride the subway again? His answer coming up. Rebecca.
The whole thing is so terrifying, Eva. Plus, we have news about Whole Foods this morning. But
in addition to Madison Keys joining us live here in Times Square, Abbott Elementary's Lisa Ann Walter and Sterling K. Brown talking about his new show, Paradise. So a lot of star power.
There's a lot here.
We'll be back.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing this for my kids.
Back here on GMA, Rebecca, let me pose this question to you. Can you guess the most streamed show of 2024 with more than 55 billion minutes watched?
I'm going to go ahead and say it's been streamed in my house at least half that much. Dance Mode Bluey, way to go.
It's the beloved children's show that keeps breaking records. You talk about this, Eva talks about it.
It puts a smile on our face. And it has the best music. That's the thing. Kids shows, they're tough on the music. Bluey, not so much.
Right.
I love it.
Got to check it out. We got to check it out.
So we aged out, I guess. Okay. Following a lot of headlines right now, including health officials in Kansas, where they're dealing with the largest documented outbreak of tuberculosis in U.S. history. There have been 2 deaths in the past year, along with 67 active cases. Also right now, a man from Indiana who has recently been pardoned by President Trump for his role on January 6th was shot and killed by police. Matthew Huddle, you see him right there, was pulled over by authorities. Police say he was in possession of a firearm, resisted arrest. The incident is under investigation.
Also, police in Elkhart, Indiana say a gunman killed 2 people at a supermarket before being fatally wounded by responding police officers. 2 of those officers were wounded in a shootout. And an update on egg prices. If you want lower prices, head north to Canada. In Canada, people on social media are showing off prices around $3 for a dozen. Analysts say Canada has smaller and more spread out farms, limiting the impact of bird flu, and they say a different management system helps regulate production and pricing. And you got to shop around here too, because I've seen them for $3 here too. And we got a lot more ahead, including news about Whole Foods and the first unionized store in Amazon's grocery chain. That is coming up.
Right now, the New York man who barely escaped death as he was pushed onto the subway tracks in front of an oncoming train. Eva Pilgrim is here with that story. Good morning again.
Yeah, I don't have to tell you guys, this is every New Yorker's worst nightmare. Joe Linsey had just finished New Year's Eve brunch with friends and was waiting for the subway when the unthinkable happened. In an ABC News broadcast exclusive, Joe tells us his incredible story of strength and survival. We want to warn you, this video is disturbing.
I just thought, I've been pushed and I'm going to die.
In a split second, Joe Linsky's life changed forever. You can see Joe standing on the platform as the train approaches. That's when a man in a dark jacket walks by and suddenly turns, pushing Joe into the path of that oncoming train.
And the next thing I knew, I was flying through the air and I saw the two lights of the train in my face and I could make out the shape of the conductor, and then I crashed into the tracks and I smacked my head open on the ground.
At the point that you're laying on the tracks, do you realize that the train's coming?
It happened in a flash. When I was midair, I knew that I had been pushed.
While he survived the initial push, the 45-year-old knew he wasn't out of danger.
The third rail, explain it for people who aren't New Yorkers. Why is that so dangerous?
So there's a third rail that runs along the entirety of the MTA system. It's the electrified rail. If you touch it at all, you will die immediately. You cannot move. Don't kick your feet. Don't struggle. You will get electrocuted. You will die.
So you're screaming for help?
I am. A woman did start responding to me about 90 seconds in, and she tried to keep me calm.
Joe says after about 4 minutes, he could hear the sirens coming.
Be advised, I do have a male on the tracks at that same location. He pushed the male. So the male's under the train right now.
4 minutes is an eternity under a train.
It sure felt like it. As the sirens were approaching, I closed my eyes, because then I guess I felt kind of safe that help had arrived. And they dragged me a few feet to the opening between the two subway cars, and they told me to raise my hands above my head, and two firefighters on the platform pulled me up onto the platform, and I heard my ribs crack. It was unbelievably painful.
Joe had a fractured skull, 4 broken ribs, and a ruptured spleen. But to everyone's amazement, Joe had survived. He's alive!
I can't thank all of them enough, and especially John and Jonathan for getting me out from underneath that one train.
When you were pulled off that track, you asked about one thing.
My dog Leo, he's 16, he's a dachshund, he's a rescue. So I looked at the firefighters and I said, I know I'm really, really hurt. I'm hurt really bad, but you need to help me get to my dog.
He spent 7 days in the hospital, 5 in ICU.
The nursing staff there and the care team there was amazing, truly amazing.
Police eventually arresting 23-year-old Kamel Hawkins for pushing Joe onto the tracks. He's been indicted on multiple charges, including attempted murder, pleading not guilty.
Anything you would say to that person?
I'm choosing not to focus on the anger, resentment, or negativity. He's 23. I don't know much about him. I'm focusing on healing, recovering, getting myself back to my life.
These sneakers, the shoes he was wearing that day, a reminder of what happened and what he's overcome.
These are my pink Air Force Ones. I was going to a Wicked-themed New Year's Eve party. I think I'm gonna put them in a glass box of some sort.
Has this changed anything for you?
My whole life has changed. Yes, it's a powerful reminder that this can all be taken away from you at any moment, and you have to keep going. Life is too short, and I'm gonna keep going. Absolutely.
Joe knows he is so lucky. An inch or a millimeter or a second difference could have changed absolutely everything for him on that day. The firefighters at that particular firehouse had just done training to rescue someone pushed onto the subway tracks the day before this happened. Their training very fresh in their minds. Joe's hoping to meet those two heroes soon. And he says he knows he has a long road of recovery ahead of them, but he is just grateful to be alive and says he's going to get back on the subway.
Wow. That was a great interview, Eva. What a remarkable man.
An incredible, positive man.
Lessons for us all. Thank you so much. Now, with an interview you're seeing first on GMA, American tennis star Madison Keys winning her first Grand Slam title this past weekend at the Australian Open. Give it up for the Australian Open champion here on GMA, Madison. Woo! Girl, I was screaming watching your match in the middle of the night. My neighbors don't like me right now, but it was totally worth it. Just share with us again your emotions hosting that trophy up for the first time.
I feel like I still haven't quite stopped moving to actually sit there and totally take it in, but it's been a crazy 48 hours, and I'm just so happy I finally have one of these.
Yeah, you do have one, and those are heavy. People need to know, like
very heavy. Yeah, the bicep workout carrying it around was.
Yeah, after playing 3 sets as you did. You're going to be 30 next month. Congratulations to that as well. And you said at one point you thought at this stage in your life, in your career, that this was going to be elusive, that you really thought that maybe you would not win a Grand Slam?
I mean, I had obviously made some, Grand Slam semifinals, a Grand Slam final years ago. And it kind of just felt like the opportunity slipped through my fingers a little bit. And then I felt like I was so close a few years ago and had just a heartbreaker of a match. And it was kind of in that moment where you have a lot of doubt and you think, am I ever going to be able to get back to a Grand Slam final? And I really kind of just started to put my head down and do a lot of work on the court and off the court. And yeah, here we are now.
Yeah. And I want to talk a little bit more about the work off the court, because appreciate how honest that you have been about this. And we need to tell folks, you turned 14. 3 days after turning 14, you're playing your first pro match. Okay, I mean, that's how long you have been playing. And the expectations were so high. And come on now, you're a top 10 player, but not winning that Grand Slam, you said, I'm going to take the pressure off of myself. And you said something about, and a lot of therapy helped you through that. Can you just talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I really got to the point where for a long time, people telling me, oh, you're going to win a Grand Slam. It felt very good, but it was also a confidence builder. And then I felt like the longer time went where I hadn't won one, I kept kind of starting to think, if I don't win one, am I a failure? Like, is my career, did I not live up to my potential? And it really, and I don't even think I consciously knew that I was doing it, but it kind of just felt like year after year that kind of internal pressure was really building. And it finally took going to therapy and getting really honest. And I started saying things that I didn't even know had become kind of core beliefs of mine. And being able to break those down and get to the point where I was really proud of my career and everything that I have done without winning a Grand Slam, I think I finally gave myself the freedom to go out and play at the level that I knew that I had, but I hadn't been able to do in the past. And I just finally got to the point where I said, if it happens, amazing. If it doesn't happen, I'll still be really proud of myself.
I'm glad. We have to show ourselves grace, and we got to be careful of that self-talk, what we say to ourselves. And not only did you win, you beat the top 2 players in the world to win this. That hasn't been done in a major since Serena in 2005. Does it make it a little sweeter, knowing how you earned this so much?
It definitely does. I think that looking at the draw that I had, it's very tough. I'm really glad I didn't look at the draw before the tournament. I felt like it would have been pretty daunting, but I just felt like every round, there was just more and more confidence. And I don't really know what flip kind of switched in my head, but all of a sudden I was like, wait, I can do this. Like, I actually truly believe that, like, I can absolutely be here on Saturday holding the trophy.
And you did it. You did it. Can we talk about your coach/husband? You got married, a couple of months ago. You all have been dating for a number of years, and he becomes your coach. I would say things are working out really well.
Things have been good. Yeah. I mean, being married so far has been a breeze. It's been amazing. He started helping me about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and he really didn't want to. He said he was very uncomfortable with telling me what to do, and did not want to do it. I basically had to force him to come with me. And then it's just been really nice. He played when we first started dating, so being able to actually spend time together and see each other has been amazing. But to be able to now achieve this goal and we were able to do it together, it's just, I mean, it's perfect.
It's very special. You're going to take some time. The next Grand Slam is late May, the French Open. So what do you do in the meantime?
I'm pretty excited to just go home and sleep in my own bed and
I bet.
sleep probably for 2 or 3 days. But then it's kind of back to work for us. Our year is pretty intense and we have lots of tournaments. So probably going to get back to work on Monday and get back on the court. And then we have a bunch of really big tournaments coming up at Indian Wells and Miami. So looking forward to that.
Well, have always been very proud of you, how you've always carried yourself, Madison Keys, and just so incredibly happy for you. Thank you for coming here first on GMA. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. All right, George, what makes
I'm just delighting in Lara. Bring us up later today.
Thank you, George. And back at you, my friend. Guys, we want you to meet the newest honorary dog mayor of New York City. Simon, the Basset Hound Cattle Dog mix, is an adorable rescue who ultimately beat out many candidates from all 5 boroughs for the highest office in the land here in New York. It was a tight race, we understand, but ultimately Simon bested his rivals in the November election. And this morning we have video of Simon's inauguration ceremony. Check it out.
To uphold the office of New York City Dog Mayor with liberty and, yes, dignity for all.
I'm happy to say it was a peaceful transfer of power. He's the second ever dog mayor, guys. He's following Sally Longdog. That's the former mayor. There you go, George. I told you this was serious.
I wish I would have had Cooper go for this.
I
He's got a lot of friends in the park.
Well, I believe the next election is in 2 years. Start campaigning. We do have to go.
Good morning, America. It's 8 a.m. Breaking this morning, immigration crackdown. The new Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, in New York City for an ICE operation.
Unprecedented outbreak. This morning, we're tracking the largest documented number of tuberculosis cases in U.S. history.
Tennessee women's head basketball coach and new mom, Kim Caldwell, back on the court.
Kim Caldwell got a standing ovation after giving birth to her first child.
7 days after giving birth to her son, who she credits with the assist and what doctors are saying.
Celebrate with me tonight.
And live in Times Square, Abbott Elementary's Lisa Ann Walter.
We gotta catch one of them in the act.
Plus Sterling K. Brown.
I need you to quietly lock this place down.
Talking about his new show, Paradise. And they're both saying,
Good morning, America.
Live from Times Square, it's Tuesday. Good morning, America.
They are 2 of our favorite guests, Sterling K. Brown and Lisa Ann Walter.
Also, we want to say good morning to Ike Jacha. He said, I need coffee.
I love that
K-N-E-A-D. It's a Philly bakery making some Eagles fans' favorites.
They have the Saquon Sparkly. They also have the Bleed Green Matcha and a whole lot more. We're placing our orders, and Ike has a bunch more coming up. And tomorrow on GMA, Robin, you have something very special for us.
I'm looking forward to this. The legendary Gloria Gaynor will be here, along with Joaquina Calacango, who is starring as Gloria in I Will Survive, the Gloria Gaynor story from my company Rockin' Robin, and excited to share this project with everyone, and Gloria, new music that she has for this.
First, a look at the top stories breaking at 8. We're going to start with the new Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. She's in New York City this morning for an ICE operation. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Petrusky has the latest on that. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning, George. Overnight, federal agents and NYPD officers poured into an apartment in the High Bridge section of the Bronx where a purported migrant gang member was arrested. Agents and officers, you can see there, going into the apartment in an operation personally witnessed by newly sworn-in Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. She arrived in New York City early this morning to accompany personnel from multiple federal agencies, tweeting photos, videos, and a message, and we're quoting here, that dirt bags like this will continue to be removed from our streets. The individual taken into custody in the Bronx is facing kidnapping, assault, and burglary charges in connection with a home invasion at an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado last month that police blamed on a Venezuelan gang. And sources familiar with today's operations in New York tell us that Noam is expected to witness other immigration enforcement actions as agents detain undocumented migrants targeted for deportation. New York City is one of several so-called sanctuary cities where federal authorities are conducting operations meant to expedite the removal of millions of undocumented immigrants. George.
Eric Tursky, thanks, Robin.
And George, now to the state at the center of an unprecedented tuberculosis outbreak. Kansas is reporting the largest documented number of cases. Eva is back with those developments again. Eva?
Good morning again, Robin. It is the deadliest infectious disease in the world, but it hasn't been a major concern here in the U.S. for many decades until now. This is an active outbreak, and health officials expect there could be more cases.
This morning, health officials in Kansas are dealing with the largest documented outbreak of tuberculosis in U.S. history. There have been 2 deaths along with 67 active cases. TB is one of the world's leading infectious disease killer and is spread person to person by germs that can stay in the air for hours.
You do need prolonged contact with an infected individual. You know, if you briefly come into contact with somebody in the community, it's not very likely that you're going to contract tuberculosis. The exact reason for this specific outbreak is not yet clear.
Kansas public health officials found dozens more have latent TB, meaning they are infected with the TB bacteria, but they do not have symptoms and cannot spread the infection to others.
Okay, so 65 cases might not sound like a big number after everything we went through with COVID, but that many cases in one concentrated area means it could be spreading, and health officials want to make sure people are being treated if they're sick, and that is why they are sounding the alarm, guys.
Eva, thank you. We're going to bring in our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Tara Narula. Thank you for coming in so quickly about this. It was alarming when we woke up to this news. So tell us, how contagious is TB and what are the signs and symptoms?
Right, so it's a bacterial infection that primarily affects the lungs, but it can affect other organs. It's spread through the air when someone who has active TB coughs, sings, or speaks, and as you heard, it can linger in the air for a few hours. You can have 2 conditions, inactive TB or active. Inactive means you don't have symptoms, you can't spread it. However, it can reactivate at some point later. About 1 in 10 people that will happen. If you have active TB, the symptoms would be usually a cough that's prolonged over 3 weeks, sometimes a bloody cough, fever, night sweats, chills, weight loss, fatigue, weakness. Those would be the things to be looking for.
Can you help put this in perspective for us? I mean, how rare an outbreak like this, and what about the testing and screening and treatment for it?
Right, well, you also heard, I mean, this is the leading cause of death by an infection globally, but we don't think about it a lot in this country. However, we see outbreaks every year. In fact, we see cases every year. There are about a little over 9,000 cases reported in 2023. We've seen an uptick since COVID, about 13 million in the U.S. living with that latent or inactive TB. So not uncommon, but yes, we get concerned when we hear these numbers. However, it is important to note, I think this is the big picture, that this is a very low risk to the general public. They're working to really get it under control by identifying patients and treating them. There is a treatment. We usually give a combination of medications over about 3 to 9 months. There is testing that you can do, blood tests or skin prick tests. And there is a vaccine, although we don't use it in this country. But, you know, big picture, the numbers sound alarming when we hear outbreak, but we do see this every year.
Okay, thank you for putting that in perspective for us. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Really helpful perspective. We're going to turn now to Whole Foods and the first unionized store in Amazon's grocery chain. Andrew Dimbert is here with what this means for Amazon employees and unionizing across the country. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning. It'll be the grocery chain's first ever union after workers at a Whole Foods in Philadelphia successfully voted to form one. Staffers opting to join the United Food and Commercial Workers Union in large part because they say they want better pay, improved schedules, and fair workloads. It's the first successful unionizing effort at a Whole Foods since Amazon bought it for over $13 billion back in 2017. And the company has faced a growing number of unionization efforts and talks ever since. The Jeff Bezos-owned giant has tried to fend off attempts at labor organizing by not just Whole Foods stores, but by delivery drivers and warehouse workers, with some employees even going on strike. Last year, Amazon workers at a warehouse in Canada did successfully unionize, only to learn their facility, along with all Amazon warehouses in Quebec, would be shut down permanently. And after a years-long battle, workers at an Amazon fulfillment center in North Carolina are finally set for a union vote next month. Similar union progress was made by workers in New York's Staten Island location, but they say Amazon has since refused to come to the bargaining table. As for the Philadelphia Whole Foods voting to unionize, the company says it's disappointed by the outcome, saying in part it offers competitive wages and other benefits such as 401k plans. Guys.
All right, a lot of activity there. Andrew, thank you. Coming up in our GMA morning menu, Tennessee women's basketball coach Kim Caldwell back on the court just 7 days after having a baby.
Also, the Jonas Brothers making a special announcement. You're here first in pop news.
Plus, we're kicking off 3 days, not 1, not 2, but 3 days of deals and steals with that woman right there, Tori. And this morning we have a winter warm-up with hot bargains starting at $10. And Lara, you have 2 very special guests with you.
I do, and I'm going to ask a question that we're doing Jeopardy style. What do Sterling K. Brown and Lisa Ann Walter have in common? Well, many things that some I can't share, but they're both on hit shows, they're both live on GMA, and they both love deals and steals. How good is that? Stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back. Ooh, that's a new take on it. Did you arrange that yourself?
Well, yeah, I know. A little something.
Yeah, you did a little bit.
Indian Ariana, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, DJ.
Yeah. Does everybody know that Robin is responsible for our theme song?
Yeah, NDRE. It was a segment that we did here on GMA many years ago.
Many years ago.
And
it's taken off.
Well, thank you, Lara Spitzer. I appreciate that. How about our GMA cover story now? The University of Tennessee women's basketball coach on the court just 7 days after giving birth to her son. Ariel is back with her story. Good morning again, Ariel.
Good morning again to you, Robin. As you can imagine, this is generating a lot of buzz, a lot of moms talking about this. It's a year of firsts for Caldwell, her first as head coach, and now she's a first-time mom just a week after welcoming her bouncing baby boy. Last night, she was once again calling the shots.
Kim Caldwell got a standing ovation when she entered the building, returning 1 week after giving birth to her first child.
From giving birth to back at work in just a week, Tennessee women's head basketball coach Kim Caldwell commanding the court overnight, days after she and her husband welcomed their first baby, little Connor Scott.
1 week later, Kim, who had the flu when she gave birth last Monday, is back on the sidelines coaching Tennessee.
Coach Caldwell quickly rebounding to practice Friday to prep for the Vols matchup against defending national champs, the South Carolina Gamecocks, Monday night.
It's nice to be back. Just how cute and little he is.
The 36-year-old saying after the game she was surprised to receive a standing ovation.
I try to sneak in, that's why I sneak in the back. Always try to go unnoticed, but it made it worth it. It made coming back worth it.
While some new moms like Caldwell choose to dive right back into their routine, doctors say such a quick turnaround might not be for everyone.
There's so many factors that go into one's recovery that I think you just have to listen to your body and in many ways listen to your mind and then decide based on that.
South Carolina coach Dawn Staley in awe of her competition.
Women have the strength of 10 men.
Coach Caldwell says she's now focused on balancing her monster career and her new role, mom.
Adrenaline was going. I love this team. I asked a lot from them, so I'm going to give them everything I have.
And Caldwell praised her husband and her mom for helping support her and take care of the newborn while she's courtside. She says it would be a completely different story if that wasn't the case. It's also really important to remember everybody's circumstances are different.
Absolutely.
Every mom, your birth story is different, your support system is different, your career is different, so we shouldn't judge.
And I want to share the birth story of legendary coach of the Tennessee Lady Vols, Pat Summitt.
Yes.
She was out of state on a recruiting trip when she went into labor. They start flying back. The pilot wants to land in Virginia. And she said, we lost to Virginia in the NCAA tournament last year. I'm having this baby in Tennessee. And she made it back. She
almost
made it
happened
back.
on the plane. Her son actually.
She was not having a baby anywhere else but in the state of Tennessee.
Her son actually tweeted about this. Yeah.
The will of the mom. All right.
Absolutely.
What's in pop today?
All right, George, we're going to begin this morning with a GMA exclusive. Thank you, Jonas Brothers. They have a big announcement they want to share with you guys about returning home for the holidays in more ways than one. Check this out.
Hi, we're the Jonas Brothers. Don't say it. The whole point is you don't say it. You just let them read it. Oh, okay.
Man, I wish I had my glasses. You're ready to hear first, folks. Disney announcing the movie tentatively titled Jonas Brothers Christmas Movie will be a comedy following Kevin, Joe, and Nick as they try to get home from London to New York in time to spend Christmas with their families, but obstacles keep getting in the way. The film will bring the Jonas Brothers back to their Disney roots. It'll begin streaming on Disney Plus later this year.
Actually called that. There.
Totally. Yeah. I love that. Also in pop news this morning, it's been a couple of days now since the Philadelphia Eagles took home the NFC Championship title and clinched their place in Super Bowl 59. And that's not stopping the city of brotherly love from continuing to celebrate. Ike Ajache is at Need Coffee, that's with a K. It's a bakery and coffee shop in the Bridesbridge neighborhood of Philly, where they're giving fans a sweet taste of victory. Hey, Ike.
Hey, Lara, that's right. Good morning. How are you today? I'm here with Carly Schwab. She's the owner and operator of I Need Coffee here. And she helps Eagles fans all over the city. Fans like these wonderful people you see here. Them celebrate with team-themed drinks. We have the Saquon Sparkly, the Bleed Green Matcha, the Cafe Au Slay, and the AJ Brown Sugar Shaken Espresso. And I gotta tell you, her busiest days aren't on your traditional holidays like Christmas, 4th of July, or Thanksgiving, but they've been every single day that the Eagles have had a playoff game. How about that, huh? So I gotta ask you, Carly, what's it been like in this city over the past few days when the Eagles are on this magical run?
Yeah, you can definitely feel it all throughout the city that like the Eagles are doing well. People are happier, more excited. They're out and about, and yeah, she's super happy, right? That one's mine. So everyone's excited. People are out and about. They're in their Eagles gear. They're coming into the shop, regardless of whether we're doing the specials. But we knew that since we have so many fans in the neighborhood and in the city, we really had to show out. So this year we've been doing the specials, bringing even more people in. So it's been super busy every weekend since they've made this playoff run.
Yes, yeah. And I know there's always great drinks. I know we had the Saquon Sparkly here, which is fantastic. They're unbelievable drinks, guys. You got to come down here if you can to get it.
Definitely will. That looks great. Thank you, guys. And hi to your little kid, your little baby. And finally, last but certainly not least, Rob, a friend of yours, was on Jimmy Kimmel last night.
Who was that?
Sean Evans, the host of Hot Ones. He was on the late night show. And he opened up about some secrets behind the saucy wings that he serves on his show, Hot Ones. Of course, the show where celebrities are interviewed by Evans as they attempt to eat a variety of increasingly spicy chicken wings. And Sean puts his money where his mouth is. He revealed to Jimmy that he's eaten at least 3,000 chicken wings over his 10 years on the show. That's a low estimate. He also talked about the different approaches that celebs use to cope with the blistering heat. Take a look.
An athlete, when they're doing Hot Ones, they approach it in almost like a one more rep kind of way. You can see the athlete wiring in them on the show. And then actors, artists, very like, I need to immerse myself in the experience. And then musicians are just worried that we might have fried their vocal cords. They might have destroyed their career.
That's a fair concern. Wondering what Robin's approach is, are you? Well, let's take a quick look at when Evans was here on GMA.
I don't have to.
We do.
Is there a piece of advice, wisdom, a saying that you think she'd say to you now as your brain slow roasts in hot sauce on live TV?
I'm coming to see you, Mama!
Robin, what was going through your mind at that moment?
You did not want to know. You did not want to know. But can I just say, Sean Evans, he is a great interviewer. He is so talented.
Yeah, we learned a lot from you who we thought we knew so well on that day. I don't know what the secret is, but it works. That was fun to see again. We'll look for new reasons to show it throughout the year. And that's pop news, everyone.
Thank you, Lara. It's time for me to start walking. I'm walking for our day one of our winter. These boots are made for it. I'm walking for our day one of our winter warm-up edition of Deals and Steals, and Tori is here way across the studio with our deal number one. It is so good to see you.
Hi.
Hello.
So we are starting with the
Snow Joe, this is an electric snowblower.
The Snow Joe.
We're going to see it in action. You might recognize that is my work husband,
There's Gary.
Both my work husband and my real husband tested this. Both gave it an A+. Gary's video was better, and so there he is. He told me he gives it an A, which that's all I need to hear. It will help you clear the snow so easily. It's 35 pounds, but easy to easy to maneuver. One button to start it, and it's got that chute right there that enables you to point the snow in whichever direction you need it to go to clear the walkway. I saw it in action. I give it an A+ too. $134.50 today with our deal.
A+, as long as Gary or Tori's husband are the ones maneuvering and operating.
A+. Okay. Giant hoodies. If you are somebody
cozy.
who favors comfort, this is for you. Beloved by teens to grandparents, men and women. It's just a great feel, fit, kind of like a nice oversized fit that you can throw on with leggings, shorts, jeans. Some people even belt it and put on some boots and they're good to go.
Love that.
We've got more than 20 different solids and patterns, all 50% off today from Giant Hoodies.
And so cuddly.
Comfy too, and the hood, of course. All right, muck boots. So these are guaranteed to keep your feet 100% muck proof. And so what that means is these are completely waterproof. They also have heat retention built on the inside, so your feet are going to stay warm no matter the elements. They've got really phenomenal traction. We've got options for men, women, and kids from just a big variety of from low to tall. You can count on all of these. They're all slashed in half, plus free shipping.
Free shipping.
For 25 years,
they feel really nice inside, not that rubbery feeling.
Feel something else that's nice inside these Poodoo slipper socks. So if you're going to buy boots, you should get some slipper socks to go on the inside. These are really great to wear with boots or to wear around your house
without a.
There you go. We've got slippers from them as well. We also have lots of their cold weather accessories. This is always a beloved brand, but now we have even more products than ever from them, all slashed at least in half, starting at $10.
Super cozy.
So cozy.
Yes.
Cozy comfort.
Yes.
Speaking of comfort, this is Shapermint, and they call this supportive wear. So it's all really designed to be incredibly supportive. One of their best sellers, this one right here, this is the Everyday Wireless Shaping Bra. Really great for nice lift, smoothing on the sides, so there's going to be no bulges. We also have from them their smoothing tank. It's smoothing all around. It's a really great layering piece. We've got their smoothing and shaping leggings. We even have the tights from them, the tear-proof tights. All of this 50 to 60% off. If you're looking for comfort, this one's for you. Starts at $17.
We love that. And good to just have a few of those because you never know when you're going to need to throw something under your outfit.
Right. So that is what Lara and Lisa Ann just came in here and said. Lara did a little styling on our Abbott Elementary star here from Toronto. That specific cape.
This is so pretty.
Lara did a beautiful styling job. She owns that cape. You own that cape. You love that cape. You bought it a while ago. We also have this really great. Look at how good you would like this as a cold weather aficionado. These cover your ears.
So cute.
Ear flaps from Toronto. The inside lining is fabulous. Look how gorgeous that one is.
Nice.
That one's like their faux fur scarf.
Come
Phenomenal.
on over.
All slashed in half, starts at $32.
Lara wants to get involved.
Lara.
So welcome, Lara. Okay, we have partnered with all these companies on these deals. You can find them on our website. More on winter warm-up deals tomorrow. And coming up, Sterling K. Brown is here.
Welcome back to GMA, live from Times Square.
And we are back with one of our favorite guests. You see his name right there, Sterling K. Brown. He won us over in the Emmy-winning show This Is Us and his Oscar-nominated turn in the movie American Fiction. Welcome back.
Thank you very
now
much.
Starring in the new series Paradise, he plays a Secret Service officer. And in this clip, he just found his boss, the president, dead.
What's going on?
Just give me a minute. Jane, who's in the bay right now?
Garcia?
Garcia, okay, good.
Sir, if we're locking down, shouldn't I be alerting Robinson?
No, not yet.
But protocol says...
Jane, I need you to quietly lock this place down for the next 30 minutes without asking any more questions.
The music gets us every time.
Yeah,
man. Yes, Okay, you play a Secret Service officer
Yes.
accused of murder.
I do.
I hear, though, that you had, as a youngin', you had a little bit of a run-in with the law.
Listen, not like Brown was out there in these streets like that. One time I was driving my car, a motorcycle cop pulls me over. He goes, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" And I was like, not even being sassy. "No, sir, I don't. I didn't think I was speeding or anything." He goes, "I bet you your friend in the back seat does." And he goes, "Oh, because I threw a cigarette out the back?" Just, this guy's name's Brian Brooks, who I love. We called him Donk, because he talks like a donk. He's like, "Oh, because the cigarette I threw out the back?" He's like, "Yeah." So my friend said, "I'll pay for the ticket, don't even worry about it." And I was like, "Cool." I go off to college. I come back home to renew my license.
Oh, no.
I had a warrant out for, your boy had warrants at 19. That's not a good feeling. I'm not that dude. Never paid it off.
And where's Donk today?
That's a very good question. We kind of stopped talking to each other.
Wow. Not accused of murder there. You are in this show. The show, though, is called Paradise. How would you describe it?
It is a thriller with a political backdrop. You know, as you see, my character discovers the president's dead. He's the head of his Secret Service detail. And we're trying to figure out who did it and why. It's created by Dan Fogelman. And so if you're familiar with This Is Us, Dan likes to throw out little twists from time to time. So that murder is just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, wow.
It goes deep.
We are looking forward to that. Also, interesting that you play a Secret Service agent. I wonder how that might go in real life. Is that something you've ever wanted to do?
No, not at all. I'm very good at fake defending people and fake beating people up. But the level of energy that it takes to be on constant guard, the way you're constantly scanning the room for threats and everything, I like to see Jesus in people. I don't like to see people trying to hurt people, so I could do it, but then you get tired very, very fast.
Yeah.
So, Sterling, I want to switch gears and ask you about the rumors. We keep hearing about a possible Black Panther 3.
Oh, wow.
And it's been said, or I've read, that you kind of are itching to get back to your Marvel family.
Wouldn't mind it at all.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you've said you had the most incredible experience.
Absolutely wonderful.
If you could close your eyes and make it happen, would you go villain or hero? I know it's very deep. Take your time.
The villain is always going to be more fun.
Yes.
The villain is all, unless you get like that hero, Christopher Reeve's Superman, where you get Clark Kent and Superman and you get that dynamic turn that's both of them. He should have been nominated for an Oscar for Superman. May he rest in peace. If you get that one, then yes. Otherwise, give me the villain.
Villain, I love it.
Thank you that, because you know his son Will Reeve works with us, and we were hoping for that Oscar nom. You're a busy man.
I stay busy.
I know we're trying to get you in another movie. You already have 3 that are coming out. You got another TV show series as well. And your podcast with your wife.
Come on.
Oh, come on now.
Robert, you watch my podcast.
We don't always agree.
We don't always
That's the
agree.
name of the podcast.
Yes.
So what's the latest thing that you all haven't agreed on?
Lord of mercy, there's so much. So the other day we had a little event for Paradise to come and check it out. And I asked my wife, I tried to play it low key. I said, "Hey, Brian, why don't you come check out this episode of Paradise with like the crew and everything?" And she's like, "If I can make it, you know, I will." And I'm like, man, in your own house. You go out into the world, the people at GMA give me mad love, y'all. This woman's like, if I can make it, she didn't make it.
She didn't make it?
She didn't make it. She's taking care of our children.
What about her, like, talking to herself a little bit?
Okay. My wife has a delightful habit. She's an only child. And she talks to herself all the time, constantly, especially when she's come out loud. Like when very loud. She comes out of the shower and she has these full-blown conversations with herself. So I like to sneak into her closet, which is right outside the bathroom, and just eat popcorn and listen to this chick talk about life, like everything. And so she gets upset sometimes because she thinks I'm trying to scare her, but I'm not.
No.
She fascinates me and I love her. And the only way I get to know what's really going on inside her head is when she's by herself talking in the bathroom.
That is funny.
And some of the stuff she says is outlandish. It's great. I don't always agree with the things that she thinks to herself, but I ain't gonna tell you what she be talking to herself about.
Wise man.
Wow.
Thank you.
We're gonna end it there.
Piece of mystery right there. Paradise is streaming on Hulu right now.
With Tara Roberts. We first met her when her underwater journeys to find lost slave ships made the cover of National Geographic, where she is an explorer in residence. Now she's sharing more about her experiences in her new book out this morning. It is called Written in the Waters. Tara, so good. No relation. Tara Roberts, Robin Roberts, no relation, but I wish. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you again. Beautifully written, you know, just talking about the transformation over 6 years in your life. Can you just share people what that was like?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an incredible journey. I would say, you know, one way that this journey has really empowered me and transformed me, when I was a little kid, I used to read sci-fi fantasy books.
Right.
All these characters that were like saving the kingdom, and I wanted to be one of those characters. But I thought I couldn't because none of the characters ever looked like me. So being a part of this work, diving with scuba divers who are searching for slave shipwrecks around the world has brought a sense of adventure to my life and changed it completely.
And we see those in the pages, we read those in the pages, and I'm diving with a purpose.
Yes.
Diving with a purpose, because let's think about it. Well, it's 2017.
Yes.
You're in DC,
yes.
and you go to the National African American History Museum,
yes.
and you see this picture.
Yes.
And that...
It changed my life. Like, I didn't know anything about scuba diving before this,
right.
But I saw a picture of a group of primarily black women in wetsuits on a boat. Rabbit, I'd never seen a picture of black women in wetsuits on a boat before. So it struck something inside of me. It made me remember those dreams as a kid of wanting to have adventure. And then I read about them and discovered that they were a part of this group called Diving with a Purpose, and that's what they did around the world. Like, who would even think?
And that's when a real transition in your life happened, when you started doing that?
Yeah. I ended up quitting my job. I felt like this work was so important. I wanted to be a part of it somehow. I wanted to help tell stories, to bring this history back into memory.
Yeah. Oh, history back into memory. I like that. I like that a lot. And I really enjoyed being down with you in Florida. I didn't get in the water. There were some sharks in that water. I know you said they were friendly sharks. But to be with you, seeing you go on those dives down in Florida, just remind folks, what goes through your heart and your mind when you're discovering history under the water?
You know, I think it's different for everyone. And maybe I'm a little bit of a weirdo. When I am under the water, I don't feel sad at all about this history. I mean, it's big history. You know, it's 400 years of the transatlantic slave trade. But when I'm under the water, I feel such agency and power. I remember when I was diving in Costa Rica and I came across an anchor that was from a ship from the 1700s. It was a slave ship from the 1700s. But to see that anchor, like I felt proud of myself. I was like, I have these historians, these divers, these archaeologists, we have all raised our hands and we have said that we're not going to wait for anyone else to prioritize this history. We are volunteering to bring it up from the depths and back into memory. And that just feels like it feels powerful to me.
It's going on to the next generation. One of your nieces, right?
Yeah.
Isn't she now diving?
Yes, you met my niece.
Yes, right.
Yeah, she's diving. My cousin is diving. Her father is diving. Like there's something about this work that I think speaks to people and makes them want to come back to the ocean.
Yeah, a last question for you, because you talked about, hey, how have you left your work? You had a good job in communications.
Yes.
What do you say to folks who, they want to make a pivot?
Yeah.
But they think it might be too late for them.
Yeah.
What's your message for them?
It's never too late.
Yeah, man.
Follow your curiosity. It could lead you to the cover of National Geographic magazine. It could lead you to GMA. Like that wasn't something that I could have anticipated just by seeing that picture in the museum.
Something as simple as that. And now you're an author.
I'm an author, yes.
What do you want people picking up the book when they put it back down? What do you want them to feel?
I want them to feel like this history isn't just Black history. It's not just American history. Like this is global history. The transatlantic slave trade shaped our world, but it's largely unexplored. So I hope it makes people more curious about it. And I hope people feel like they can take risk and they can follow their own curiosity.
So glad that you have done that. Very proud of you. Very happy for you. You just, you exude so much spirit and love.
Yeah,
thank you. All right. And you gave your book to Sterling K. Brown. You're like, here's my book. Never thought you'd do that.
No, never.
Written in the Waters is available now. Let's go to Ginger.
I need to grab it too. Thank you so much, Robin. And now to a performance 30 years in the making. Disney celebrated the enduring legacy of The Lion King with a one-of-a-kind live show at the Hollywood Bowl. And now the full concert is coming to Disney Plus in just 10 days. And we have a first look at the trailer.
Welcome to the Hollywood Bowl.
Lion King was a huge part of my childhood.
This is the first time we actually sing these songs together.
Lion King cast members from past and present come together on one stage. The Lion King at the Hollywood Bowl, streaming February 7th, only on Disney Plus.
Coming up, I almost didn't make this because I was talking to her. Abbott Elementary's Lisa Ann Walter is here. All right.
She is a true chef. She's already talking about she can't be it smells good.
It doesn't smell good? Good.
Lisa Ann Walter is here, and what do we have? We got meatballs.
We got sauce, we got meatballs. Quinta's favorite meatballs that she makes me bring in. And pasta, and we're going to cook.
Okay, we're going to cook.
You want to
come on back?
All right, we're back now with one of our all-time favorite guests, Lisa Ann Walter from Abbott Elementary. Lisa, your character on the show is a fabulous cook. That's not acting.
No.
You love to cook.
You
are fantastic at it. And this morning, guys, she's schooling us in the world of meatballs.
So we only have a limited amount of time, so I'm going to jump in.
Well, but can I ask one Abbott question? Because I want to just
go ahead.
You can go ahead and jump with your
I'm cooking.
Guys,
I just want to, on the way, say we're using less than like a tablespoon of oil is all you need.
Maybe that's what I do wrong. I do too much oil.
You don't need that much oil.
Okay.
You just need it to beige the garlic. And when I say beige, you hear that?
Beige the garlic.
You don't make it, if it goes brown, it comes bitter, as we say in my house. Go ahead, ask me Abbott.
Coming bitter.
I'm
all right,
putting
so
in
Abbott
a
just
whole
got
pan.
renewed for season 5.
Season 5.
And guys,
Thank you.
how fun is this? They found out while they were filming.
We were on set, and Quinta was
mind?
like, oh, by the way, we have season 5. And I'm like, you couldn't tell us that? Like, she said, I knew for a month. My God, are you Sicilian? She's very closed mouth.
Yes, she really is, isn't she?
So,
well,
okay, wait, thank you very much. I'm
so
cooking.
Good.
The only time I get up and cook this early is on Christmas.
You made me put on gloves. Now, what am I doing?
Okay, here's what you do.
Am I rolling?
Yeah, but not yet.
Okay.
We put the water into the tomato paste after you scooch it around a little bit because you don't want it to stick. And then I'm just going to pretend like I'm doing this, but I'm not going to really do it.
Okay, because we don't want
4 cans of San Marzano tomatoes.
Just get your hands
that
right in
literally, you take each one. It's so satisfying. You take each one and you just like squeeze it like that. If you don't get your hands in it, you're not really doing it. Just get your hands in, squeeze each one, and then 4 giant cans.
And that really releases the goodness, right? You gotta squeeze.
I don't know if it does or not, but I like it.
All right.
Because you gotta break them down. And this has to cook. Hang on, I'm going to show you. What I used, by the way, was about 5 cloves of garlic.
I was just going to ask.
This is so much easier when you have a sous chef. Like when you do it at home, your hands stink of garlic for a month.
Yeah.
And then you take basil, and I don't know if you got a top shot, but you put basically one layer of dried basil across the whole top, and you use a wooden spoon because if you use metal, I will kill you.
Okay.
Do not use a metal spoon. Again, it makes it bitter.
It makes it, you can
makes it bitter.
Metallic.
It comes bitter. You can't use the.
So for these, I know you make meatballs for your castmates.
Yes.
But for us, you do your favorite mix, which is pork and beef.
So it's half pork, half ground beef. When I do it for Quinta, who loves them and requests them regularly, I have to use just beef because she doesn't eat pork.
So you can. So the point is, you do you.
You do you. Do whatever meat you want, okay? You're gonna, again, get in there with your... I'm gonna make you do it in a minute.
All right.
But you put the 3 eggs in. I like how you're very elegant and you wear gloves.
I know, I feel very chic.
I can't believe a stylist I had to pay so I could mess it up with.
I know. You look fabulous.
Thank you.
Everybody, we watched you, Lisa Ann, shopping Deals and Steals. That was so exciting.
Yeah, because they got real deals like free.
You guys keep cooking. We're gonna show a clip.
Okay, oh yes, new episode coming.
Hang on. Are we gonna do that right now?
Yeah,
Because I could do do this quick. All right, do the clip. Come back. Go ahead.
For the kids. Oh, and at some point you have to try the Alba white truffles just flown in. Took me 6 months to source those from a remote province in Italy. They're absolutely breathtaking.
Was that enough stops for you, Janine? That's real crab. It's not imitation. You can't even get this at Outback. Well, thank you. Give me like 3 more. Okay.
So good.
They figured out that I eat funny on the show, that I'm funny when I eat, and that's all they make me do now. I'm so fat, you guys. Okay, this is another 4 cloves of garlic. This is about a cup of grated Romano, not Parmesan. It's more flavorful.
Okay.
And this is a whole head of parsley chopped. Look, a sous chef did that. And then you mix that with your hands. You try not to make a mess. But let me show you, this is the important part.
Okay, I keep
This is what you have to
wanting to
know.
get in.
When you make the meatballs, you can't, like, you know how you see them, they're all perfect and people roll them like they're, like it's
not too tight.
No, because you ever go to a restaurant and it's tight, aren't they tough?
Yeah.
All right, so roll it like this. Look.
Keep a loose roll.
Look, a loose roll, people.
A loose roll.
Get in there.
I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna do one. All right. And then
Cook
let's talk
those
about
30
simmer.
minutes for 350.
Look how
and
big
then
mine
the
is.
sauce that you made has been cooking for an hour. And you stir it about every 15 minutes, and then you put the meatballs.
Look how big mine is.
Jeez, yours is giant. Is that George? This is you. You put that in the sauce. You cook it up for. Oh, wait a minute. That one's cooked already. I forgot it was a fake kitchen.
I'm gonna taste. You like rigatoni? You prefer?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. It's everybody's favorite.
Do that for me because I have egg on my. How is it?
So good.
Oh my
Is
gosh.
it good?
I love the mix.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for coming in. New episodes of Abbott Elementary air Wednesdays at 8:30 right here on ABC.
So good.
Streaming next day on Hulu.
Well, this morning we're hanging with Linsey. I'm not saying it, but I'm going to show you.
Say it.
This is, it's Rebecca's anniversary with Matt. There you guys are.
That was your wedding, Robin.